Welcome to Viva La Visionary, the podcast that celebrates the innovative ideas and mindsets of entrepreneurs and visionaries. Join your host, Coach Bob Schittefeld, as he dives into inspiring stories and practical insights from trailblazers who are changing the game. Whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur or a seasoned leader, this show is your source for motivation and creativity. Let's embark on this exciting journey together.
3, 2, 1, and here we go.
3, 2, 1, go! Hi, I'm Coach Bob, host of Viva La Visionary, here with one of my favorite people. I'm excited to play with you, Jill. How are you?
Viva La Visionary. I try. Viva
we have a
Las
soundtrack
Vegas.
coming out.
You know, visionaries, sometimes it does feel like Las Vegas.
It's interesting, and we create our own playlist, soundtrack, whatever that might be. Well, cool.
I was with a visionary yesterday who said, I think I have lost my ability to live with uncertainty. He dug into that and we dug right back out of it into, oh, wait a minute, this is what I love.
Right.
But, my goodness, that's
so
Las Vegas for you.
Let's go there because we have a summit coming up, which will be our 8th one. And our title for this one is Pioneering the Unknown, the Visionaries Playground. Yes. And part of and again, I some people say I have some wisdom, which I do. Most of it's from others, a lot of it from you, which I appreciate. So let's start there. If you could explain, because this was a big aha for me when you were presenting at the summit a couple years ago, showing the quadrants of delegate and elevate, and then the quadrants of Johari window. So can you explain that? Because that was a big aha for me. And I remember you calling me saying, I figured it out. So if you don't mind explaining that.
Oh boy, this is going to be fun. What a fun discussion to go into without visual aids.
Well, we're visionaries, so we make it up, right?
We can see it.
Right.
So here's where it came from. Probably from my own discovery, which Bob, you mentioned, your discoveries come from other people and our own insight. I get this hunch that all of our discoveries come from other people, and it just is how we absorb data.
Yep,
Even if it's we don't know where that idea came from. We have been gathering data. Intuition, the best definition I've seen of intuition is pattern recognition outside of our normal consciousness.
Right, love
it. So again, this is where I say, where did this come to me? Was it my brilliant idea? Maybe, probably not. Who knows?
You're part of it, right?
I don't even care. Here's where it came. It was, okay, what do I love and what am I great at in the delegate and elevate quadrant? But then I was ignoring in the Johari window, I was like, okay, the unknown is just like, you'll figure that out somewhere.
Yep.
And where you and I love to get curious, I'm like, why am I, that quadrant exists for a reason. It exists for a reason. So one day I brilliantly saw the two quadrants together and I thought, what if we turn this one upside down? And that's where the unknown quadrant extended the love and great quadrant. It extended infinitely. Unknown, love and great. Who knows what I'm going to love and be great at in the future? Who knows? And it just, it awakened lots of possibilities. Yeah. I don't believe in proper grammar sometimes when I'm in this space of creating. It woke something up in me of, oh, I am still creating. I am an infinite creator, and I've been able to share that message with the summit. I shared it with a group of visionaries a few weeks ago. We as visionaries are on the bleeding edge, are on the frontier. What was the theme of the summit again? Will you say that again?
For coming up, it's Pioneering the Unknown. Right. And then it's the Visionaries Playground. Yeah. And I have some comments.
Visionaries Playground. Exactly. Now, pioneering has a special spot in my heart because I used to be a Mormon. So I still have that Mormon culture, right? Like pioneering and let's do things ourselves and let's build something out of nothing for sure. But that's that's where we are, that's where we lead. And sometimes if we're not aware, we can get trapped in the company that we built, in that excellence zone. And so just being aware that our playground is the unknown. Our playground, this is where we are pioneers, and to discover that for both ourselves and our company. And hey, if our company is good, like, hey, that's great. You can go start another company. You don't have to mess with that one. If that
Right.
one's
Well,
doing really
usually,
well.
I know that's what I've done, and I mess it up, right?
There you go. We don't need to. So start another one. I was with a visionary, same visionary I was talking about yesterday. It's like, oh, there's these 3 pet projects he's had that are really rocking and rolling. And he's like, this company's great. This one's going to sit there and churn off some cash to support the others. So it's just a whole new
Well, what
perspective.
I got, and I love it and I even knew what you were going to present. And so when you had the transparency on the Johari window, and then you flipped it up, I was like, boom! And I mean, it was like, and so because I have been programmed, I think a lot of us, to fear the unknown and be apprehensive of the unknown. And when you said that, I'm like, I love the unknown, but the chatter in my head is, oh my gosh, what if this doesn't work? What if it doesn't work? And so if I go in with wonder and curiosity, so that was a big aha, because how I've always heard the window is the unknown is the unknown. But that's our playground. So that was a big aha. So thank you for that. I love that. So when did you first learn you were a visionary?
Okay, the first time I accepted and really claimed the label, I was running on EOS. I was president of a CPA firm. And yes, I know, I always pause for laughter, pause for giggles, that's fine.
Right.
I'm breaking the mold, all right? I'm breaking the mold, but I'm not a CPA, but I was president of the CPA firm. And we had been running on EOS for about 6 months, which a lot of times it's that 6 month, 5, 6, 7, 8 months where you're like, no, this is my seat, this is here. And I was the integrator.
Wow.
And the owner was the visionary. When we not very quickly, 6 months, the person who was in the operations seat, in an open and honest, vulnerable way, she looked at both of us and said, Jill, you are not an integrator, you're a visionary. An owner, you are not a visionary, you are a technician. And it was,
That's awesome.
yes, she was a certified strength finders coach at the time, our operations leader. And he, much like we say, Bob, like, free yourselves, visionary. You don't need to sit in the integrator seat or these other seats in the company. You can free yourself to be a visionary. He was like, wait a minute, I can free myself out of running this business, staying awake at night. I can free myself to go only into the owner's box. And he's like, brilliant, I'm moving to Canada. So I
That's
became
really
the
letting go of the
visionary.
mind.
Yeah. I became the visionary. And Julie, who was this operations leader, she's like, no, I'm the integrator.
Right.
And it was so beautiful and so freeing. And the company started to grow again after that. So I would say that's the first time I claimed it.
That's awesome. As you know, Gino, founder of EOS, and I are very good friends, and I was in it just observing and helping him. And when he first started to look for a visionary, I'm like, well, I could be for an integrator. I could be your integrator. He's like, dude, you would be an amazing integrator for like 15 minutes.
I love the way he said that.
Okay. Yeah, which again, that is the worst thing, but that's awesome. So what's the one thing you've learned in your years of leadership and coaching that you could, one piece of advice or experience share of something that has catapulted you as a visionary, that, like, what, this is a lesson I learned or the thing that I implemented that helped me as a visionary, helped you as a visionary?
Okay, so this one I'm gonna put this in present tense because I am learning it.
Right, love it.
I am learning it. It is not over. I spoke to some university students of my alma mater, Weber State University,
Yay.
Utah, about a month ago, and their instructor asked me the same thing, like, what advice would you give these? So I was able to give them advice of things that, like, I'm pretty sure about. Right now, like talking here to visionaries, Viva La Visionary, and then of course, Bob, whenever you and I get together, it's like, oh, I feel like I am in a coaching session, which is beautiful. I am learning right now, or I am in the middle of discovery or being curious about it. What type of visionary am I? And I'm not going to give you a list. Like there are 4 types of visionaries. Maybe there are, I don't know. But, but for me, this is beautiful because it's going into the unknown. For me, what I'm playing with on my playground is I feel like I'm a creator. I am a creative visionary. Um, I, Bob, I almost get teary. I can feel like tears welling up of this emotion that I get when I am in that creative mode. That something comes over me. I'm the creator of coaching magic. I feel like I'm a creative coach. One of my favorite things to do, and I'm discovering this and I'm naming it. Like, oh, I love to co-create. Co-create, co-create, co-create. It's a step of coaching for sure. But clients will say, "Can I know you're a coach and you don't really say this is this and this is that. You only ask us questions." But sometimes, Jill, you're brilliant with your brainstorming. Could we buy some of your time to just brainstorm with us on this? And I'm like, yes, let's do this. So this it's the creative side, Bob, and I am learning it.
Huh. So that's interesting because I'm going through the same thing, and I love this. Is that like we're not only co-creating together, we're co-coaching, which is fun.
And
Because it's
self-coaching and reflection and self-reflection and all the things.
because I'm realizing again, I'm similar that I love creating, and that's these conversations and activities, whatever it might be. I don't necessarily want to run a company, to be honest. I just want to be the visionary and help other visionaries. So I'm going through that right now as well. And it's interesting with my last business that one of my first business that I ran, it was in distribution, a real commodity business. But my largest client, whenever he would call me and say, "Do you have a few minutes?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "I just want to hear some ideas that you're working on, just because it would be inspiring." So he called me the idea generator. So whenever I would go visit him, and I was nervous because he could find someone who could probably do what we're doing cheaper and whatnot. And he's like, "So what's new? And I'm like, in distribution, like there's nothing new. And I was like, it's time for me to get out because it was a commodity that I wasn't excited about. And so to be in that curiosity stage, and he literally paid more for using us for a commodity for my ideas and generates in general. He just liked that. So I love being that idea. And it wasn't all my ideas. It was co-creating those, it's
Co-creating. Just Bob, I am a songstress. I don't even know if that is a word, but it is.
PM if it's not.
Pieces of songs come through me, and they're in a way they are answers to prayers. They are inspiring. It's maybe a way that that spirit can get through my ego if it just comes through a song. And this morning, literally one came through about we are co-creating this experience. We are co-creating this experience. I am creating my experience. We are co-creating our experience. We are co-creating our experiences. And it's when I feel the pressure of being, let's call it a traditional visionary, scale your company. Did you see my brow furrow?
No.
Okay, you guys, I'm into noticing these days. I felt it. Scale your company. Did you see
Right.
that?
Right.
It's an indicator that my body is like, that's not what I want. As a as a creator visionary, what I am coming into is there's a little phrase that it's also in a song. Yep, I think spirit gets to me through song. It is plant a little garden. I want a little garden that is rich. I want a little garden full of passionate, dedicated coaches where I am also enrolled in Coaching Magic. I want a little garden of passionate, dedicated clients who are dedicated to their own growth. That's what I want. I luxuriate in that. And that's where I'm coming to this awareness or a noticing that it's possible that I am a creator, and what I create, people will be attracted to what I create because I love what I'm creating.
Exactly.
And then that's it.
No, I love it. So what is coaching magic? I know, but can you explain it? I mean, I
Oh
don't
goodness, you got
in,
coach. Oh, I'm
in
so
a couple
sorry.
minutes or less.
Oh yes, no, it's very short because it's very simple. For years, um, I have been coaching coaches on the side, in phone calls. Yep,
Right.
you too, Bob. And
Oh, you've been coaching me is what I was
oh,
saying. Yes,
thank you, Bob. I love you, Bob.
I love
You're a joy to coach. And the question kept coming to me, and it was posed to me maybe 10 years ago. It was, Jill, how do you do what you do? And when the question was proposed to me 10 years ago, it was almost a rhetorical question. It was from somebody that I absolutely love who does one of those assessments. And he said, Jill, how do you do what you do? And I said, well, I don't know. And he said, exactly. Your profile, you create magic, but you don't know how you do it. So you can never be scalable. And I'm like, well, okay, fine with
Right.
me. But I did have this burning desire to figure out, like, how do I do it? How do I do it? So I observed myself. I observed myself for years, and I took notes, and I was my own science experiment. And what was birthed from that is coaching magic. So coaching magic is full of two big things, and then everything else is creative, and we go all over the place. The first one is there's 11 elements of coaching magic. And these 11 elements apply first to the coach.
I love it.
There's a lot of tools out there. Of course, you and I love the EOS tools. There's lots of tools out there that coaches can learn and work with their clients. But very few people were talking about or teaching how does the coach, it's the coach themselves, personal development, if you will, for the coach themselves.
Yes.
And I was bypassing that part. I was bypassing my own development. From this came the 11 elements of coaching magic, which first apply to the coach, and magically they also apply to the client. Each element has this dual purpose, a yin and a yang, if you will. And then that's like the first tool that we hang all of the other tools off of. And then we also have, you'll love this, Bob, it's the agendaless coaching magic agenda.
Right. I love it. Here's our agenda.
It's a paradox. And what it really is it's an agenda for the coach.
Right.
How we prepare, how we
Yes.
dance with our clients, how we conclude, how we reflect, how we manage our own energy, for sure. And then with that, any coaching tool or coaching practice can go, you just plop it right into the middle. But that's coaching magic. It's for dedicated and passionate female coaches. So that's us.
Thank you for sharing. Well, and it resonates with me that when I started coaching, I'm like, I shouldn't charge for this because I get as much as they do. And then it's like, oh, well, that doesn't mean I shouldn't charge for it. But it's and again, I talk about craft in my coaching, and craft is a lot of us are teaching what we're learning. So I'm like, well, how can I coach on something that I'm not an expert at? It's like, but no, I realize it's an opportunity and I'm working on it. So that's where I put it out there to say, here's what I'm working on and what I'm doing. And when I'm teaching, I'm like, this is good stuff. I should probably do it. It's so I love that start with the coach first. That's a great opportunity for me to learn. What do you think? You work with so many visionaries out there. What do you think? What's one of the main things that the visionaries are struggling with right now?
La 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 la. I love this question.
You can answer in a song if you want.
Oh, I might. I mean, I might. Visionaries are struggling to see the future. What has been true in the past, where
Right.
our data can show us, predict, oh, if we do 4 of these in a month, then we can do 8 of these in a month. If the clients want this, we can see, oh, the next thing the clients are going to want is this. And it's been predictable. That's what I have sensed in the past. Now, ooh, we're in a whole new world.
We are.
The technology is adding a huge new resource. The emotions of the people around the technology and the political environment and the economic environment. There's a lot of unknown. We're going right back to unknown again.
I think it's a theme here,
And
right?
and visionaries are they are playing with new ways to see the future, new ways to go into their unknown. No, one of the things I'm working with my visionaries on, and I've been doing this probably for the last 5 to 7 years, maybe without even knowing it, is helping them calibrate their intuition.
Right. Love it.
Going back to some of the old ways. Just close your eyes and feel, where is that idea light? Where is it heavy? We have not always had access to data,
Right.
but yet the earth has populated. We have been, some people would say we're not successful. We have moved forward. And we haven't always had access to that data. I love data. Please don't get me wrong. But in these situations where things are changing so rapidly, there is a tool inside you, visionary, that is intuition. And it might not be the single thing you use to make a decision, but you can go dig there. You can go explore there, climb that mountain. And it is working
Right.
to move forward. We know visionaries, maybe just like leaders in general, will get this analysis paralysis or a decision fatigue. I don't know which opportunity to choose. Where am I going to put my eggs in what basket? And this just calibrating your intuition a little bit will just help you move forward with which one to explore first. And I've been finding that's working.
I love that. And you mentioned the mountain. That's cool. Go to the
I
mountain.
love the mountain. Hey, Bob, can I say something about the mountain?
Sure, please.
You asked me earlier about, like, when did I know I was a visionary? But there was something. I just want to. I got to say this right here in Viva La Visionary. It's maybe for posterity, maybe for somebody listening. But as I was visionary of this company, and then I moved into coach, as I'm a facilitator, teacher, and coach of my own little company. At the time I went to the mountain, it was me and my assistant. I think looking back, the mountain was the place where I started to refine and wake up to what I'm now exploring as the creator type of a visionary. So, if I were to put my milestones on a timeline, if someone were to ask me to do that, going to the mountain, not spending, I don't want to say that word. I want to say relaxing into the space you provided. That's where it started to bubble up. And if I were to look back, which I'm doing right now, it's that moment. There were 2 specific moments on the mountain where it's like, oh, oh, oh. And I hold them dear in my heart. So thank you for the mountain. I'm excited to go to the mountain again in 2026.
Yes.
Who knows? Who knows what else I'll see? Oh my gosh.
Woohoo! It's
High
the
expectations.
fun on, right, exactly. Well, when you mentioned thank you for that on the mountain, and when I go to the mountain, physically, I just see so clearly, and I'm out of the day to day. And yet, what we talk about, the mountain isn't just a physical place; it's a mantra, a mentality. And so, when you said tapping into our intuition, I'm learning even just like I wake up at 3 in the morning a lot, and I used to get pissed. It's like I've got a lot to do tomorrow, and now I'm like, bring it. And so literally just slowing down and listening. And it's like, oh, and again, like you said, it may not be the breakthrough idea, but it might be an indication or a nudge or whatever. And then I kind of maybe go back to sleep or not. And then I go to tell someone right away and they're like, are you nuts? So I'm learning to capture that and then refine it before I blast it out to the world. I'd call a meeting, at 8 o'clock, we're going to change everything. It's like, okay, that doesn't necessarily make sense,
Bob.
but listening to that gut, it's.
Hey, Bob, can I share a tool that I use with some of my visionaries? I think you guys might really like it. You might also like it, Bob.
Sure.
When I know lots of visionaries listening to this might be familiar with EOS. So one of the funny things we say, we have a handful of jokes, right? We have a handful of jokes. One of the funny things we say is vision without traction is hallucination. Now I think that's hilarious and it's true. But sometimes lately I have been feeling that hallucination has got a bad rap.
I love it.
Because of that quote. And it's true, it's still true. All things, both can be true. So I created this tool called the Hallucination Journal.
Love it.
It's for visionaries like you who wake up at 3 a.m. And here's the only rule with it. Well, there might be more rules, who knows? The rule is you can only hallucinate in that journal. You can invent a hot dog business. You can invent a rainbow colored pony rental business, but you hallucinate in that journal. You are not allowed to plan.
Love it.
You are not allowed to get any traction on that. You just dream
No
and hallucinate.
hows. Right.
And if you are feeling, you're like, wait, but this one needs a plan. You have to take it out of the journal and put it into something else. And then you can go plan over there. But it creates this really fun, almost sacred space and welcoming. Hallucinate, dream, be crazy, be wild. And then that's where sometimes we'll get that hunch of like, wait, rainbow colored unicorns actually could be a really big deal. But you got to take it out of the journal.
Right.
You got to take it out.
Well, I love that. And that takes me to the next question, which will tie in. What are the roles of the visionary? Because when I read it, it's like R&D and this, and it's like, what is that? And I think often I feel, and I've heard a lot of other visionaries feel, that process and structure kind of makes the visionary the bad person. And again, so what would you call the role of or some of the roles of the visionary?
Well, first of all, here's what I will sometimes say to visionaries and whole leadership teams. They're looking at page 4 in the focus day tab, or maybe it's page 5, and they're looking at these, or they've read Rocket Fuel, which is beautiful, and they're looking at these common roles of a visionary. And I will say to them, this is just to stir the pot, get you thinking. These are not assigned roles to you. We are customizing this for you and your love and great quadrant. We're customizing this for your talents. If I'm creating a visionary seat in my own company, then it's going to have creator, maybe not even visionary. Maybe I just lose that title altogether, but it is going to be creating right there. The creating doesn't happen in the sales seat or the coaching seat. For my company, the creating happens in this seat, what we would typically call a visionary. So these what maybe we're saying typical roles, I feel in my gut and my heart that they were always suggestions. They weren't demands. One of the tools we use in Coaching Magic is we send out invitations, not demand letters. Do you like to get a demand letter? No. So I can see this when you're like R&D or this makes me a bad guy. It's somewhere somebody thought that was a demand that a visionary had to do this. And I have just opened that up for my visionaries, and we see so much more clarity. So much more clarity. It's like, what? Yeah, who are you?
And uniqueness, right? Well, a lot of people come to me say, "Hey, I'm letting go of the vine, or I want to let go of the vine. Now, what do I do?" And it's like, it's not what you do; it's who are you. And again, we're all so unique. And I'm going to add to the suggestions for the visionary roles is hallucinating. I mean, it's like, because I'm really good at it. And I used to feel, well, and again, originally, we talk about letting go of the vine, and I left my business for a couple months. I was going through an issue and left, came back, and my company and we were running on EOS. We had a great implementer. His name's Gino. And when I came back, they were like, we're glad you're back, but we don't want you doing all the shit you were doing before. I'm like, well, what do I do? And they're like, well, what you love and you're great at. And I'm like, I don't even know what that is. I'm like, I like to drink with my clients. I'm like, all right, well, go do that. But I used to feel guilty of just spending time on my own, whether it's hiking, whether it's at the whiteboard, whether it's going through tools that you have or I have, but it is hallucinating. And that's part of my job without feeling guilty. So thank you for giving me permission to do that.
Yes. Hallucinate. There's another one that's coming to mind when you shared the story of you coming back. And I think it's really powerful, especially for people who are attracted to Viva La Visionary and the summit and the mountain and the Visionary Forum. And it really is part of our role, possibly, if you choose to accept, if you choose to claim it. And part of my role is my energy.
For sure, yes.
I once came back from a long vacation when I was at the CPA firm, and there were like 20 people working there, and I came back to chaos. And it was not, there was no chaos with our clients. Our processes were being followed. I walked in the door and went, oh my gosh, people are not settled. I could feel it. People are irritated. And I walked in, and they're like, this person and this copy machine and the parking lot and like these little tiny things people were, it was like, oh, while you were gone, the ice cream machine broke. Like we don't even have an ice cream machine.
Right.
I'm trying to be extreme on purpose so we get it. And that was probably the first time where I really realized how much my energy helped the team gel, helped the team feel positive about coming to work, and they noticed it when I was gone. They noticed it and they said, we missed you. They didn't need me for things. My energy is useful.
Right. Oh, for sure.
So visionaries, it's possible that your vision, just your energy of how you talk about the vision, but just you being in the building or in the meeting or in the Zoom room with whatever you identify with energy, me with my smile and my encouragement, you maybe with your challenging or with your like, hey, have we thought about these two things? Your energy is really, really powerful.
I love that. In my first business, when I had an integrator, he didn't really know he was the integrator, and he was fighting me for the visionary role. I mean, it was weird. And so then finally he was like, you know what? We're all here because of you. Mm-hmm. And then he became the integrator, and I didn't take it to the next level. He did. And the whole process did. But once he realized, he's like, it's your energy. And I'm like, wow. And he has a different energy, and so that was a huge aha. I love that. Yeah, that's interesting. But it's also tough for a lot of us visionaries to justify in our own minds my value without feeling guilty. It's like, what am I doing to add value? It's like just being is adding a ton of value. And I think that's a big shift for a lot of people.
And I think, Bob, what I've observed is when visionaries can let go of the doing, what happens is they create a lot more space for observing. And I think, that I believe visionaries could, and they have some talent to be a coach. And the first step in excellent coaching is noticing and observing. If visionaries are down in the doing and meetings and this, I think, I have a hunch, my intuition says that there is a skill there that if we do less doing, we can take a deep breath, step back, and there is more observing. And that's where you then get into co-creating, and you wake up at 3 in the morning and your intuition, which normally is a pattern that you did not recognize in your consciousness, comes to consciousness.
No, I love that. And I've heard
doing with observing.
No, I love that. And I think that is a skill maybe we have, maybe we don't, but we can, because for me, with my great gift or unique ability, as Dan Sullivan calls it, I had my statement, and my wife was, he's like, Well, when you listen, you are brilliant at that. And I'm like, oh, so you're saying I don't always listen, which I wasn't. But to learn just to slow down. And I think I was brought up, and it's like I had to be the hero. And those are some of the things that as I let go of those things and got rid of the pressure that I had to solve everything on my own. Oh my gosh. So listening is huge. And then I've heard you say also, doing less and being more, thinking less and feeling more. That's exactly how you said it. But and again, that's not how a lot of us were taught. It's like, what productivity did you have? And how do you measure how good a job I'm doing as a visionary? So I love you helping me to even shift from thinking to feeling and from doing to being, which is, again, that's the old way of kind of doing it, is the thinking and the doing. So thank you for helping me with that.
You're welcome. And I also wrote a book called The Thinking Advantage. So this is so fun. I love how life unfolds. I often write books for what I need to learn. And I still think that book is brilliant. Same thing. There you go. I still think that book is brilliant, The Thinking Advantage. And now I'm like, what is the feeling advantage? What is the feeling advantage? Hey, that might be my next book, The Feeling Advantage.
It could be. I love it.
Oh, whoa.
So we've said it a few times, but what does Viva La Visionary mean to you?
Well, it reminds me of Las Vegas. Viva Las Vegas. So there you go. But the tie-in from the very beginning of the podcast, like Las Vegas, like you go make some bets.
Right. Gamble. Right.
Yeah. And then also like celebrating. Viva La Visionary is celebrating. We can, because we are a rare breed. You know what? Can I unfold one little thought?
Please.
So we have said, you and I and lots of coaches and people running on EOS and people who really understand this visionary integrator duo, it has been said, I've heard myself say it, that we have in this world visionaries 10 to 1 integrator, 10 to 1, right. That ratio.
Right.
And I've been thinking about this. And Bob, if I'm opening up a whole new topic, just, you can edit this part out. But I've been thinking, when we're talking about celebrating visionaries, I think in the world, like maybe the world at large, there's 10 to 1. But I don't think there's 10 to 1 visionaries who take the risk, who open a business, who follow through, who know what it feels like to not make payroll, who know what it feels like to cash out a 401k from an old thing and invest, to have the courage to go live in their great gift. Visionaries who will invest in themselves and say, yes, my being and my feeling is important. I'm going to join the Visionary Forum. I don't think there's 10 to 1 there.
Right. I agree with
you. Those visionaries are rare. Those visionaries are rare. Any idiot can have an idea, for reals.
Yep.
Yeah. Right? Anybody can have an idea, but it's the courage and the fortitude and to go, I'm going to do this. And that desire, you attach yourself to the desire, even though I like to think I'm unattached. But attached to the desire that activates this force in the universe that's like, yes, let's funnel tools to this person. So we can move forward. But what was your original question, Bob?
One more, we'll come back to your question, because someone described the Visionary Forum and the Visionary Summit as a faith-based organization. I'm just like, hold on.
Wow.
That right. I was like, okay, what does that mean? Because I there's so much dogma around it. I mean, again, I believe in something greater, and I love that other people do. But someone said, well, Bob, what we're doing is we're helping people to acknowledge we have faith in our ideas and faith in our vision, faith in people, faith in humanity, faith in love, faith in something. And I'm like, okay, well, that I'm in for. And that is what we are. And it's kind of hard to explain what we are. And someone else said that we're kind of like Visionaries Anonymous. It's like, hi, I'm Bob. Hi, Bob. But we're unique. So I agree. It's probably not 10 to 1. It might be 40 to 1 or whatever. But so anyways, that was a big aha for me. And again, I don't say that we are that, but to have, like you said, what is unique about us, not just courage, but courage that it is going to work out. And courage is that I'm going to take risks, because when I'm done in 50 or 60 years, I'm going to say, look at the impact I had on the world and the growth I had as an individual. And that is faith in myself and life and love. But so just another add on there.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So then just to finish on the other one,
Yeah.
what
What was the other question? I've forgotten.
What does Viva La Visionary mean to you?
Yes. So celebration and uncertainty. So Viva, the second part of that was celebrating visionaries. And that's where I went into, no, they're not a dime a dozen, not visionaries who are dedicated and passionate and willing to put their own certainty on the line for uncertainty. So that's celebrating those visionaries who are really going for it.
Oh, I love it. So, all right. Well, thank you for all that. Any other questions, thoughts, things that you want to throw out to visionaries?
Listen,
be careful what you ask for, Bob.
Exactly. Because that would be questions, thoughts, visionaries. I would. Here's one. Just finding a space to slow down and observe. And I'm going to say the sentence different. Creating a space. We will never find space. It rarely sneaks up on us and goes, ta-da, you found me.
Right.
Creating a space to slow down and observe. If you are that visionary who's like, hey, I've always been able to predict, but I'm not really predicting right now, or I've got 10 things that could be possible where usually it was like, okay, these 3 are pretty good. Just try that. I invite you to try that. Create the space, which means you create it. You can create space. Slow down and observe. What are you noticing?
All right. I love it. And I'm still learning that because it used to be that's a waste of time.
Me too. I am also enrolled in Coaching Magic. I tell the students this all the time, the students that are in the school. I am enrolled with you. We change the tools, we invent new tools, have new insights. I'm having new insights right along with them. And I too am just a patient in the hospital with everybody else.
As I'm client number one with when I was writing my book, I said, if it can just help me to be a little bit less scattered, then it's worth it. And if it adds value to others, that's great. But I'm client number one and learning every day.
Beautiful.
And I love learning with you. And
I love learning with you. Thank you. We're unfolding, Bob.
Yeah, it's, life is so amazing, and it's about relationships and learning and growing. And I've learned so much with you, and I'm excited to continue learning with you, and not even teaching others, it's learning with others, which is a big thing. Because I used to think, well, I'm a teacher. Well, yeah, I do teach things, but I'm mainly a student and learning with others. So love learning with you.
Me too. Thank you, Bob. And thanks for having me on.
Absolutely.
Viva La Visionary.
Viva La Visionary. Woohoo! All right, bye.
Thank you for tuning in to Viva La Visionary. We hope you enjoyed today's episode and found inspiration in our guest stories. If you loved what you heard, please subscribe, rate, and share the podcast with fellow dreamers and doers. Join us next time as we continue to explore the limitless possibilities of visionary thinking. Until then, keep dreaming big and taking action. Your vision matters.